back to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Lisa Boldo, and in this segment, we're talking about health. And we're talking about the benefits of thermography. We're joined by Tammy Kohlschmidt of Thermography for New York. Tammy, welcome to the program.
Hi, Lisa.
It's good to have you here today.
Thank you.
So, Tammy, what is thermal imaging?
Okay. Thermal imaging is also known as thermography or digital infrared imaging. And it was actually approved for medical use in 1982 by the FDA. Many women are choosing thermography over mammograms because there's no pain, there's no radiation, and there's no body contact. And what thermography does is it looks at your body's temperature patterns so that you can actually see how well you're functioning. Your temperature tells a whole story about you that is read through the nervous system.
So is thermography, is it like a camera? Is it like a screen that you're looking into? Because like you said, there's no pain, there's no radiation.
Yes.
So what
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a digital camera.
Great.
And it measures infrared heat. So we can see hot spots, we can see cold spots, and all of that means something, which is what the doctor will read. And it's essentially measuring you against you. So we're comparing one side of your body to the other to get your body's temperature measurements.
Does it show up as maybe red spots or green spots on the camera?
Yeah, there's a color palette that goes from white, which is the hottest, to black, which is the coolest.
Wow.
And every color means something different in relationship to you.
So if it's hot, what does that mean?
Well, it could mean many things. It could be inflammation, it could be infection, it could be a blockage in the flow system, whether it's your lymph or your digestion, but usually the hotter colors would be red and white.
So my next question was, what can thermal imaging detect? So kind of a rundown of a few things. Or
there's a whole list. I'll give you a few.
Yeah.
So one of the benefit is that it can see what you can't yet feel. So as you know, by the time you get a symptom, you're usually in a disease stage, like things are happening. So it can detect early disease prevention, early disease detection. And some of the things we catch early can be tumors, whether they're aggressive or benign. Also digestive disorders, lymphatic stagnation, dental issues, gum disease, and musculoskeletal or nervous system disorders.
Wow.
There's a whole list of things.
So it's not just limited to, you know, the breast area. I mean, really, this is important because you think mammogram, that's, you know, kind of limited to that area.
Yeah.
But this goes way beyond that.
It does, it does. The thing about a mammogram is that it's a geographical test. It's giving you information about what is there. Thermography is a functional test, and it looks at the entire system, all the systems, to know what risk factors you have that would put you in a place of getting disease. So you get more information about the actual state of health you're in without the radiation and all of the compression.
That's wonderful. How often should mammograms be taken? Or I said mammograms.
I was going to say.
Excuse me on that.
You don't want my opinion on that.
Right, because that's what you hear all the time.
Yes.
So that's what it was. But how often should a thermogram be taken?
Well, first you want to establish your baseline. So you get your original set of images, the doctor does the reading, and then he will determine if you should do a 3-month or a 6-month to establish your baseline. After that, it's usually done yearly. And that is so that you can continue on the right track with prevention.
And when you say baseline, what does that mean?
A baseline is a measurement of how your physiology has changed from point A to point B. So first screening to second screening within a time frame.
So for example, if you've got, I don't know, maybe you catch, not talking about the breast, but maybe a digestive issue.
Yeah.
And then, so there's a baseline of that happening.
Exactly.
So then you want to check it again in maybe 3 months?
That's right.
Wow.
Yes.
Very,
that gives
very
your body's physiology time to reroute its course. Yeah.
And then, okay, and then what happens after you determine that there might be some issues there?
Like if we find something.
Yeah, if you find something.
Well, there's a few things. Dr. Melvin, who is our reading doctor, he does make recommendations so that the patient has a guide.
So there are definite steps that a patient can take to improve
That's right.
their their results
That's
or
right.
whatever. That's great.
And it can be based in nutrition. It can be based in gum care. It can be based in chiropractic care. There's all sorts of avenues to go with it.
Gum care. So how would thermography be related maybe to gum disease?
There's a huge relationship. So I am a periotherapist at Dentistry for Health New York, and the whole reason I got into thermography was from some personal experiences. But my mom had breast cancer, and I remember her gums were always red and inflamed. And when I discovered thermography, I realized that this was an assessment tool that I could use to look deeper into the body. And in gum care, there's something called the oral systemic link, where they've done all kinds of research on heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, certain cancers that link back to infection and inflammation in the mouth.
Wow.
So there's a correlation of gum disease and other diseases. And now with thermography, we have a way to bridge that gap, because I work in the mouth. So when I do the assessment with thermography, it allows me to show the patient, look, here's some hidden inflammation. Maybe you need to go see your doctor and start to deal with this part of the body.
You mean you can see maybe in the thermography screen what's going on in the mouth, or is that?
Yes, you can
Wow.
detect gum disease, dental issues, and the big thing today is bridging the gap between dentistry and medicine, because people with chronic disease forget about the mouth. It's usually the missing link, the missing puzzle piece. So the benefit is to bridge that gap and you know, treat the whole body, not just the parts.
So have you, I mean, are you finding that more women are tending to go toward thermography now? It's getting popular?
It is.
Yeah.
Just a note on that, because the only thing that will diagnose breast cancer is a biopsy. So mammograms and thermography are assessment tools. That's all they are. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, will I benefit from a tool that takes 8 years to find cancer and has radiation and compression and will only give me a certain amount of information?
Are you talking about the mammogram?
Mammograms.
Ah.
Or will I benefit from a tool, if used properly, will tell me what's going on with my nervous system, my digestion, my lymph, my hormones, and also my tissue in the breast.
So it's almost like a whole body scan.
Yeah, you get a load of information, and at my clinic we give recommendations of how to change that. With other modalities and tests, you get a yes or a no or a maybe, and no guidance.
So this thermography, it just, you know, we go for so many other kinds of testing.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say that this should definitely be on the list?
I think it should be a yearly screening.
A yearly screening.
I think it's most beneficial because, again, we're looking towards prevention. You know, the best way to treat chronic disease is to prevent it.
Yeah.
So it's one of your tools.
Right. So you were a dental hygienist, or maybe you still are, and
Yeah.
but you are very passionate about this area of thermography. So what do you love the most about what you do?
What I love the most is the education part of it.
Yeah.
Because when the women come in, they're anxious, they're not sure what to expect, and they you know, they're afraid. That's the bottom line. So I love the part of just reassuring them, telling them that there's ways around cancer, and if you catch it early enough, because thermography can pick it up when it's only 2 years old, which is about the size of a grain of rice.
Really?
Where if an 8-year cancer is more the size of a dime. And when it's the size of a grain of rice, you can do many things to change your physiology. You change the cellular makeup of everything.
I think that a lot of people think that the thermogram is more, you know, just, you're just talking about the breast, because we always think mammogram versus thermogram,
Yeah.
but it's actually a whole body thing.
It is.
And it's, so that just sounds like it's, and let me ask you this too, men, do you find that men also go for these thermograms?
Yes, it's extremely important for men. They also have digestive issues, stagnation in their lymph, gum disease, heart disease. I actually have a client, this is interesting, he's a man. 3 years ago, we did a thermography screening and heart disease came up. And Dr. Melvin said he needs to see a cardiologist. He never did. And now, 2013, he has heart disease. He's in full-blown stage heart disease.
Wow.
So we saw this 3 years ago. If he would have followed through, there would have been other things he could have done.
So we need to take this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
And Tammy, I want to thank you for joining us today. You have been just a wealth of information.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, and thank you for watching Joy in Our Town. We will see you next time.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and is made possible by your telephone dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town coming to your home every week. Write to Joy in Our Town, Post Office Box A, Santa Ana, California, 92711.
Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host,